WWE Friday Night SmackDown on May 2 went down in Des Moines, Iowa, inside the Wells Fargo Arena, and the air had that strange energy, one that hits when a show tries to carry momentum but stumbles on uneven ground. There were solid matches, a few standout promos, and simmering tensions heading into Backlash, but the atmosphere wasn't quite electrifying. Maybe it was the mid-card heavy booking. Maybe it was the weight of backstage news, surprise talent releases that shook the locker room. Or maybe it was just the hangover from last week's TLC banger. Whatever the reason, something felt just a bit off. Let's get into it. The tag team bout featuring Jade, Cargill and Tiffany Stratton against Naomi and Nia Jax opened eyes. Chemistry is always a question when you pair two rising stars like Cargill and Stratton, who haven't worked much together. But credit where it's due, they managed to coexist. Not perfectly, not seamlessly, but well enough to get the job done. There were moments when Cargill looked like she wanted to handle business herself, and Stratton's in-ring cockiness nearly cost them. Still, they pulled through with a win, albeit one built more on individual strength than tag team fluidity. A short-term alliance? Probably. Long-term partners? Not a chance. John Cena wasn't in the building, but his presence lingered. Backlash looms large, and his absence only added to the anticipation. But don't worry, he'll be there next week. The build for his clash with Randy Orton continues to intensify, and that brings us to one of the night's best segments. Randy Orton stepped into the ring and delivered a promo that cut deep. He called Cena out for hiding behind the glow of the PG era, painting him as a glorified cartoon character. Orton didn't hold back. He mocked Cena's lines about raising the WWE Universe's kids, then pivoted with that signature cold fire in his voice. Orton reminded the world, and Cena, that the last real champion may be legendary, but he's just the next in line for the Viper's venom. John, you're the latest legend I have to put down. It wasn't just talk. It felt like a warning. Meanwhile, in the midcard, Fraxiom picked up an impressive win over Pretty Deadly. It wasn't a match that set the crowd on fire, but it continued Fraxiom's steady rise. He's quick, technically sharp, and slowly building a following. Pretty Deadly played their role, obnoxious and flashy, but they walked out with another L. This was a spotlight moment for Fraxiom, and he took full advantage. Another sleeper match saw Rey Fenix pin Santos Escobar in a high-flying affair that showcased two of WWE's best luchadores. It was clean, it was fast-paced, and Fenix looked every bit the star fans know he can be. Escobar, ever the technician, took the pin in stride, but you could feel frustration brewing. There's tension coming in that corner of the roster. Now let's talk about the United States Championship scene, and the chaos surrounding it. Damian Priest and LA Knight squared off in the night's opening bout, and it was shaping up to be a banger until Solo Sikoa decided to involve himself. Again, for the second week in a row, Sikoa threw the ending into chaos, this time causing a disqualification. Priest was pissed. Knight was even more pissed. And everyone's patience wore thin. Sikoa's pattern of interference didn't go unnoticed. Enter Nick Aldis. The SmackDown GM had seen enough. He made the call to turn the Backlash US title match into a triple threat, Fatu defending against both Priest and Knight. But Sikoa wasn't done. He stepped up, reminded Aldis that Drew McIntyre already earned a title shot by DQ. Technically, he had a point. Aldis didn't argue, he thanked Sikoa for the reminder and promptly turned the triple threat into a fatal four-way. Priest, Knight, McIntyre, and Fatu. Jacob Fatu's reaction. Calm, collected, and confident. He didn't like it, who would, but he shrugged it off with trademark swagger. All gas, no brakes with it. But it's clear, Sikoa's antics, whether intentional or not, are making life hell for Fatu. And you have to ask, is this a slow burn to a bigger blow-up within the bloodline? Sikoa, for his part, continues to stir the pot. Whether it's intentional sabotage or just reckless loyalty, his presence complicates everything. Fatu's got the target on his back, and now he's surrounded by three hungry challengers. Come Backlash, it's every man for himself, and no amount of family ties will matter inside the ropes. Elsewhere on the card, backstage segments simmered with tension. Kayla Braxton caught up with Stratton and Cargill after their win. Cargill brushed off any notion that Stratton carried the match. Stratton, not missing a beat, reminded the audience she's the center of the universe. Neither looked thrilled to be sharing airtime, but the mutual goal of winning has kept them together, for now. Backstage friction wasn't limited to tag teams. Escobar, stewing after his loss to Fenix, exchanged words with Dragon Lee, who made it clear he's eyeing the same spotlight. That's a program to watch. The cruiserweight corner of SmackDown is starting to heat up again. In the women's division, Naomi continued to show why she's so valuable. Even in a loss, she brought energy, charisma, and experience. Jax, meanwhile, did what she always does, cause destruction. The tension between Jax and Stratton after the bell hinted at a possible direction, or maybe just a tease. But something's brewing there, no doubt. The crowd in Des Moines wasn't dead, but they weren't exactly electric either. Could be the news of surprise releases still hovering in the air, could be that the lineup leaned too much into the midcard. Either way, the show just didn't pop like last week. The energy dipped at times, only picking up during the bigger segments, Orton's promo, the fatal four-way announcement, and the main tag match. Backstage, a few whispers floated around about more shifts coming. Not confirmed, but the vibe backstage feels tense. With Backlash on the horizon, everyone's jockeying for position. And not everyone's safe. There were highlights, no doubt. Orton's promo was the show's peak, a reminder of how dangerous he is with a live mic. The fatal four-way announcement added immediate stakes. Jade and Tiffany's uneasy alliance gave the women's division some spotlight. But the rest of the show struggled to keep pace. Not every episode is going to be a home run. That's wrestling. Sometimes you follow a TLC classic with a maintenance week. And that's okay, as long as momentum gets recaptured. Next week, Cena's return promises to ignite something. Backlash is taking shape, and the card, as it stands, looks strong. But this week, it was a reminder that the road to greatness isn't always paved in gold. Sometimes it's gritty, sometimes it's messy, and sometimes it just feels off. SmackDown survived the night. Next week, it needs to thrive.